twitchy whenever we do live shows.
Everybody loves the live shows but Chris.
Oh, it's good stuff. Well, I don't have a notification yet. Why is there always a lag? Oh, no, that's not it.
I literally just hit it. I was getting you. I said I live. I just
There we go.
Oh boy, that was a long time ago. You said that.
There we go.
Mine must be late because I don't get mine. I guess I just gotta go to this page and turn on notifications, don't I?
If you get news page notifications when you go live, your phone's been buzzing today. This is the fourth one.
Oh, I have my notifications silent.
Oh. Favorite school board members watching. Pay attention.
Eric was the first. Eric was the first one on.
He's suspended.
I forgot to text him.
We talked about this.
I got to text you, Eric. Hold on.
You were worried about Mr. Chaplin. You just texted and said hello.
To all of us? Oh, to our group? Oh, let me see what he had to say.
Oh, no. That's their show if you're going to do that.
Oh, I can't play this, can I?
Looking for a comment to make sure my comments are working out. It should be. I'm going to turn this way a little bit, Phil. So
That'd be good.
since you claimed that spot,
It's my spot.
we are going to be talking election coverage, the different races.
Why do I not see it?
Go see what?
I don't see my nemesis.
Oh, maybe you got a void on that one. Phil looks like you're already behind in the Stars campaign.
Already? It already started?
Lieutenant Bruning got you.
Where? I don't see it. See, that's what I'm saying. I get none of that. Why am I not getting
Live
that?
chat?
Oh. I did hit live chat. Mr. Bruning's not on here.
They're having a sale too.
Ooh, that's
Oh, there's
Stars.
Bruning.
They're said Chris's sound isn't as good as ours.
Uh-oh.
That's probably not.
Who
bad,
said
though.
that?
My bride.
How about I just turn them all on? Okay, Sarah, is my audio better?
Oh, boy.
Plugged in. I just turned them all on because there's none of the cables on here.
Oh, so that one's on?
Oh,
no cable.
yeah, there's no cable.
Yeah, good.
200 stars. So, Sarah, is that audio better, please? We'll make sure we're ready to go.
Activate a Stars party.
I'm nervous on the air conditioning unit.
You're nervous. I'm a chubby kid sitting in a hot room. This is a problem.
Okay, Sarah says it's perfect now.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Sarah. Okay, well, let's get into it. I'm going to go ahead and pull up Guthrie News page so I can share the link. Surely, tomorrow's election day, June 28th, the day has finally arrived here. It feels like it's been forever.
Years.
But June 28th, tomorrow is election day. A lot of people have already voted early last week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Did you vote early, Phil?
I know. I'm a traditionalist. I'm voting tomorrow.
That's me too.
Yeah.
That's me too.
Vote tomorrow.
A lot of people vote absentee as well. But the deal is, if you got your absentee ballot, but now you're going to be at home, you can vote in person. You can still vote in person. You're going to have to sign an affidavit because that big registry book will have a big OA that you applied for an absentee ballot. Then you have to sign a waiver saying I have not voted absentee, but I'm allowed to vote in person. Right. So Oklahoma does their elections pretty darn right. I'm sure there's some things that can be.
Well, I like they do the basic things. You know, I mean, you're not voting if you don't have an ID.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. I know there's a whole discussion about that all over the country, but I don't think it's too unreasonable to ask somebody to cast a ballot for an elected official to show who they are.
Oh, no.
I don't think that's unreasonable.
They did it in Ohio, where I lived at, in the town I lived in, so I know they do it in Ohio. Yeah. I did absentee for the first time because I didn't want to have to fight the crowd on the 20th, but I still went down there because I wanted to make sure that they got it. I still went down there and said, hey, did you get my vote and everything? They said, yeah, we got it all. So a little different in Ohio, but I think Oklahoma does a little bit better.
I think they do well, and we got great poll workers, at least the ones that I'm that I see every year when we go in and vote.
Now, you vote from a separate place than I do, correct?
Yeah, we used to vote the same place.
Yeah.
But they've moved it around.
Now, I was at First Assembly. There's a video.
Oh, wait, did it move again?
Do you normally vote at First Assembly?
No, I normally vote up at what used to be that publishing.
Yeah, I think you're still good.
I'm still there?
Yeah.
Okay.
But if you don't know, I'm going to be able to help you out. Thanks for reading the article. But the article should be on there as well.
Been a little busy, sorry.
Yeah, you're fine. So on Facebook, I just shared a link. So if you don't know where you're voting or if you want to see your ballot, we're going to talk about our ballots here in a second. But go to that link, type in your name, and your birth date, and you can pull up a lot of information, what school district you're in, what county commissioner you have, what city council member you have.
And there's another one for statewide, and even for our U.S. elections as well as our state elections. Tanya just showed it to me tonight. It's a really useful. Gosh darn it! Let me ask her what it was, but it was. She pulled it up and she went down the list. Said, "Okay, who are we voting for on this person? Who kind of going through the stuff that a lot of couples
have the ballot
do.
online.
Yeah, they show all the, and then you can click on the person's name, and it's got a bio on each person, and kind of talks a little bit about them and stuff. So it's pretty informative. I think
I wonder who writes the bio.
Well, I would assume it would have to be submitted from the candidate. I doubt if they would, based on what they look like, it looked like something that the candidates would have written for themselves. But it's still, I think it's good. Hopefully everybody's had a chance to do their due diligence and take a look and make their decisions for who they think's best to represent them. But if not, there's still time. You can still get online and do that and take a look, try to make as informed a decision as you can.
And a big credit to Logan County Election Board. They went from 22 precincts with the new boundary lines, and now there's 30 precincts. It's not perfect. There's some people that's going to have to travel a little bit further, but the Election Board is going to be looking at that to try to make it. I know people kind of over in the Meridian area over there kind of have to go maybe down to Elks Lodge, down on Waterloo, instead of the First Church in Nazarene. They're trying to fix that. There's some few things. They were on a major deadline to get it all in with all the boundary lines changing, but then there's 8 additional precincts.
Right.
And that's 24 additional workers. So, but if you don't know the online link, which is okvoterportal.okelection.us, the link is in the comments. There's a lot of information where to vote at because some places have changed. First Assembly is where I used to vote, but now that has been moved to the Logan County Election Board, to the Logan County Fairgrounds. To the Logan County Fairgrounds is where
Got you out of the church and out where the cows live.
Yep, the cattle, if you will.
That's fitting.
Cows. I mean,
it's fitting.
The barn. I will say ahead of time, this is the Open Mic Podcast, and politics are a crazy thing. People, that's why I like associating myself with people who can have conversations, and whether we agree or disagree, we can just have a conversation. I'm voting for this guy, you're voting for this guy. Okay, cool. It all works out.
Yep.
There's some things we might say tonight, and people will hold a grudge. I can't control that, and if that's what happens, then I apologize.
Been living that for 56 years.
So
not a big thing.
So there might be some things I go in the further detail. They might go into further detail.
Oh boy,
it's just
sorry.
Yeah.
Did you see Mr. Little?
Yeah. So please, this is our opinions, and the main thing is we're just going to draw aware to the process. And
the main thing is that we're trying to get everybody out to vote, regardless of who you're voting for. Just get out and vote, right? I mean, that's the most important thing that American citizens can do besides send stars on Facebook, right, Phil?
Well, Chris thinks it's pretty important, the stars. I'm going to take a night off, Eric. You win. I got to stay focused tonight.
So, all right. Well, the first thing, I guess we can. I think I know our ballot's going to be exactly the same.
Yeah, I don't think there's much deviation. Well, there might be on one or two.
And I think, are you District 3 County Commissioner? Have you looked at your ballot yet?
Oh, you're saying the ballot itself.
The ballot itself.
Yeah,
the ballot.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. Do we just want to kind of take a look at the little state races and then
let's take a look at state races, and then you want to end with local, or you want to start with local?
Let's start with the state races.
Okay.
So before we get started, I'm kind of the weird guy here. But this is all the mailers I have received. And we're going to talk about different mailers here and what's all in there. So I collect every single one of these, and there is a bunch of them. And we might go through some of those here in a little bit.
There's a bunch in there that I never got.
Yeah, well, I got a pretty good voting history, so they like to send it to the people who...
That's right. I just moved back. So
You just moved back, yeah.
So they thought I haven't voted in 18 years. So that's when they look at it, it's like, oh, this guy voted in 18 years. His first vote was a couple weeks ago.
Now, I will tell you one thing that scares me before we jump into this, Chris. We left Wednesday and we were gone Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Mailing, as far as mail days. We went out of town last week. And when I got back last night, there were 16
mailers,
political mailers in my mailbox. 16. It's insane.
I never got that many. I think I got to maybe 8 or 9 at one time.
It's insane.
Yeah.
I mean,
and those are not cheap.
And the other, no, they're not. And the other thing, this is one thing I know we'll talk about probably in greater detail, but a lot of these mailers that are sent out are not sent out by the candidates.
Yeah.
We'll definitely
talk
about that.
That's something that I think a lot of people maybe don't understand. The other thing is 2 of my kids, their permanent residence, because they're in the military, showed as here. Mm-hmm. One hasn't lived here in 8 years, is a citizen of another state, has lived in 3 other states since he got back from being overseas, still is on the rolls here.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure.
And that's I've told us, you need to call, you need to do something. But so there are flaws.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, because they don't know if they don't know.
Yeah.
Right?
If someone passes away, does a death certificate take them off?
You would assume it would, but I remember even with Ty, when we lost Ty years ago, and he was just a minor, he was 16 years old, but we still get mail pieces for him to this day, 14 years later.
Wow.
So it's just weird, just very weird.
I can still hunt in Kansas as a resident still.
Yeah.
I didn't take that one off the books yet.
Oh, that's good.
Take advantage of that
big deer up there.
Take advantage of that one. Well, anybody looking for a tag, just
let me know.
Hopefully I didn't break the cable. I was sitting on it. So no on display comments. But you can still comment. I can talk to him if you want to do it. I hope not. I think it's the computer needed to be restarted for this thing to work. So
state elections.
State elections. I'll pull my election up here.
Oh boy, those are in order.
They were.
We messed. Okay, I've been wanting to do this ever since she told us we couldn't.
Because I had the number in my mind. So, okay. So the first one on my ballot, I'll take a look. It's a Republican ballot, and I don't think there's very many Democrats. There's none on the local.
Joy Hoffmeister for governor. There's a few, but not very many.
So let's take a look at the Republican ballot.
Okay.
Let's do that first. So for governor, there's Kevin Stitt, Mark Sherwood, Mariah McCabe, and Joel Kinsel. Obviously, Kevin Stitt, the governor for Oklahoma the last 4 years, and up for election here. Should cruise.
I think he gets 60%. I think
that 60% maybe on the low end.
I mean, I think he will absolutely destroy everybody.
Yeah, he's got the Trump endorsement and everything, so he's
But I will say this, and you shared with us today some people that are staunch.
Yeah.
This was interesting.
Yeah,
because I don't know that helps as much as people think.
I've talked to 3 people that are way more smarter than I have. Businesses beyond I wish I could ever have. And this is the conversation I had the last 2 days. Anything Trump conservative, they're out.
Yeah.
Automatically. I mean, that's their opinion. They are just like, Trump conservative, I'm out. Throw it out.
I watched a real interesting debate in Nashville. In our hotel room, we were talking. It was 3 people talking, and they said that I want to phrase this correctly. I want to get it right, but I think what they said, I believe this is correct, said, it's not that we disagree with his policies. We don't think he's electable. And we think there's such a stigma with him now because the people that love him, right? Mm-hmm. But the hatred for him is so over the top by a lot of people that it brings out more, well, I'm just voting no against him because it's him. And, I think some of it's been overplayed, the Trump conservative to Trump conservative.
Well,
you know,
if you look at the nationwide part of the whole thing, his endorsements win a lot of the times. There's not very many he's lost. He lost the Republican that went against the Georgia governor. He lost that one pretty badly. And I can only think of a couple more.
Well, and I'm not saying he doesn't have influence. I mean, I know he has influence, again, in the Republican base.
Right.
But what I'm talking about is the overall election. And I think there's a lot of people like, you know, I voted for Trump and twice. And I wouldn't vote for him a third time.
I think the Democrats like it because it's Republican.
Not because I think he had bad policies.
Right.
But I think I just personally think that the young man in Florida is a much better candidate for what's good for our country. Personally.
If he goes, hopefully, yeah.
Personally.
And the Democrats are liking it because Republicans are fighting among Republicans.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, but you know, this whole thing that's happened, and of course, been so many things happen over the last week, but there's a lot of conversation about some of the tactics being used to fundraise right now by the Democratic Party have really it's backfired in a lot of areas because there's a lot of Democrats that are going on TV and saying, I don't need to hear, oh, we need $20 from you to fight this, you know, making it a fundraising campaign. So this whole thing is a little crazy. One of my kids says, that's why we don't need a two-party system. I mean, you know, and I mean, that's all I've ever known, obviously.
Right.
But I bet there's another time at some point in our history where that's not the case.
I think the Libertarians keep coming up more and more and more.
Independents, Libertarians, somebody. Yeah. But I think you're seeing a groundswell with people that, to be quite frank, are sick and tired of both of the major parties, the Republicans and the Democrats, and just how they handle themselves. It's like they got to win. We're more concerned about a Republican winning or a Democrat winning than we are doing what's right for our country. And we've also just lost the ability to have an intelligent conversation.
Right.
I mean, we just yell at each other. Kids all over America, if they're looking at the adults, as far as in this, you know, in politics, they're getting a horrible life lesson on how to handle things.
Yeah, and I said at the beginning, outside of going to the voter portal and know where you vote, it's just nice to have a conversation. And there's going to be, especially when you get to the local stuff. I know you know, people are going to vote the way they're going to vote. But it's just have the open discussion and you know,
and make your decision. And that's okay. That's what you should do.
and you know, and the for the Republican race, the next one probably that we hear more about is Mark Sherwood. He
won't get 5% of the vote.
Yeah, it might be maybe a touch more, maybe, but it's not going to be much. I mean, you might be right.
It's right there.
Yeah.
But and I'm not, and I don't know Mr. Sherwood. He might be a fine. I mean, I don't
Police
know
officer,
him. Yeah,
doctor,
checks all the boxes.
Yeah, great, nice guy.
I'm not saying that he's not a good human being. I'm just saying that I don't think he would be an effective governor. And there's a difference between being effective at something and somebody agreeing with you personally.
Yeah, and there's going to be some races that we're going to talk about here in a minute that I think that I wouldn't vote for them just because while they're big in their group, they can't work with others.
Right.
And so they're not going to get anything done. They're going to have cool press releases. They're going to have cool sound bites. But at the end of the day, you got to work with people.
You got to work with people. And that's what we've lost the ability to do. The last president that I saw that did that with unbelievable success was Ronald Reagan.
Yep.
I mean, and he could bring the two sides together, and they would figure out stuff, and they would get stuff done. And we really haven't had anybody do that since him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just been. I mean, President Clinton had some luck, but that was more. I think more of that had to do with, and it's going to make a lot of Democrats mad, Newt Gingrich than it did. But he did a good job of working with the president on a lot of major things. So,
is there anybody that can do that? Everyone's not going to come together, but can someone close that gap?
I got to believe there's somebody out there. Yeah, I got to believe there's somebody out there. Maybe it is somebody that we just don't know yet, right? Because I'll tell you one from the Democratic side that I really like. I just went blank. Army veteran, female, Hawaii.
Tulsi Gabbard.
Huh?
Tulsi Gabbard.
I believe that's right. Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah.
Very, very sharp individual.
Yeah.
Very sharp individual. I don't agree with everything she says.
She's
sharp as they come.
Yeah.
I mean, we need to get back. This is what I think. You got the 10% over here, and you got the 10% over here, and they keep the other 80% bickering with each other. And it's just insanity. You don't get anything done when all you're doing is screaming at each other. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
They're like big booster clubs.
Oh, it's insane.
The funny thing is they yell, we argue. And but when your time done, their opinion hasn't changed one bit. They're still going to do what they're going to do.
My
they're
bride,
still going to vote whoever they want to vote for.
My bride, who's watching, so I got to frame this correctly, is very, she's not afraid to state her opinion on social media. True?
True.
Very true.
And I can't tell you how many times I've looked at her and I said, what are you doing? She'd tell me, and I go, you think anybody's going to change their opinion?
Right.
You know, and then she gives me the look, and I say, would you like something to drink? And I come back in a few minutes. But no, no, I mean, I think it's just, you know, and everybody's got a right to obviously handle themselves the way they want to handle them. Just me personally, I just think it's insane that we can't figure out a way to do what's right for our country. How anybody can argue that what we're doing right now is working on a national level with a straight face. Forget all your political, just forget it for a second. Just look how is it affecting American families all over. It's horrible. Yeah. I mean, it's absolutely. We were driving back yesterday, and I pulled over to get gas for the third time, and wasn't good. And this little lady was probably in her 70s. She pulls up and she gets out, and we're talking, and this is in Arkansas, and we're talking, and she looks at her. She gets out and she looks, and we're talking for a few minutes. She goes, it's 4:58 or whatever it was, and I assume it's her husband. The truck says, put 10 in. 2 gallons
to get you to the next gas station.
But I'm just saying. I mean, that's real world for a lot of people.
Yeah.
This is no joke.
I just left the school board meeting, and their insurance, property insurance, went up 40%, and 10% was because of policy. 30%. It's crazy. But so we think the Kevin Stitt will win the Republican ballot, and Joey Hoffmeister will win the Democrat ticket.
Yes.
For the showdown between Stitt and Hoffmeister come November.
And then I think Stitt wins with 65% of the vote.
That much?
Yeah,
I think it'll be somewhat interesting with Joy, just because.
Well, it's been a campaign.
Because obviously she was Republican. Now she has switched to Democrat on the Democrat side. So I think.
How's that going to play out in Oklahoma, though?
Exactly. No, I agree, but just. I'm trying to make it
I know.
I'm working for here for a little bit, just to show the other side.
Yeah.
So she's going to get every tribe, and the tribes have all the money you can ever.
Sure they do.
And so they're going to have the tribe people. They're going to vote with the tribe people. I think she's going to get a lot of teachers across the state.
Yep.
A lot of educators. Obviously, all the school unions. Yeah. So I think
it's about 19% of the vote.
19. Also, I think she will also be able to pull some moderate Republicans.
I think she will, but because let's be really, just you and I have talked about this. Governor Stitt, the way he's approached the tribes in Oklahoma, whether his intentions were right or weren't, in my opinion, he completely went at it the wrong way. I mean, just my opinion. I mean, huge employers, they do they make a lot of money. Yeah, and they create a lot of jobs, and they pump a lot of money into local economies, and they make a lot of money for the state of Oklahoma. So it wasn't like it was a horrible deal to begin with. Yeah. So if you have no leverage, kind of the wrong way to go about it
is. Now look where you're at.
Well, yeah, all he had to do was use his brain a little bit, and none of this would be happening. But
no, and I've had several conversations with the governor, and it's been. Now I'm not going to agree on everything. That would be weird if I agreed with everything he did. And that's one of the ones
we agree on everything.
Well, sure, yeah.
Not so.
What do you want for dinner?
I'll tell you on break.
I want a burger or pizza.
Oh,
can't have those.
I'd kill anybody. Whoa.
But so anyway, we'll get off the governor's race. But I think
it's Stitt's race. I mean, personally,
I agree.
Listen, there's plenty of people out there that are not happy with Governor Stitt, we have a good friend of ours who will remain nameless that
can't do anything right.
could find a cure for cancer, and he would still not vote for him. I mean, he just does not like the man.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
It goes back to what we're saying, and he's a good friend of ours. You know, that's okay. I mean, it is what it is.
All right.
know?
Let's take a look at the next race, and this one's going to be interesting here. I don't, as far as the numbers, I think it'll be fine, but it's been interesting to watch back and forth, and that is the state auditor and inspector right now held by Cindy Byrd. She's being challenged by the Republican Stephen McQuillan, and I got to tell you, we'll get to Colin Dool and Carmen Greider and Logan Trainer here in just a little bit.
Looking for Byrd?
No, there's a bunch of Colin.
For who?
Stephen McQuillan's red and white.
You could have organized these a little better.
Well, they were organized until you.
Well, I didn't do it.
Steve. Oh. But as you try to look for that. Here it is right here.
There's by goodness gracious.
I've gotten quite a few.
20,000, 40,000, 60,000.
But Cindy Byrd, we've seen she was the auditor during the Epic deal. That's the main thing. And she was just on TV everywhere, press conference with the Epic charter schools. 3 people, founders and the CFO, arrested on that. Coincidence, probably, you know.
but I'll say this too, and I said this when she came out with her auditor's report.
Right.
I said I prefer my auditors to do their audit and shut up. I felt like she started her campaign that day, you know. And I get it. I do. I get it. I'll have a comeback. But I agree.
But
listen, anybody that thinks that's a coincidence or this thing that's came out with Langford is a coincidence, you know, come on. I mean, you know.
So,
I mean, it's just
it's
all part of it, though. It's all part of it.
On Guthrie News page, we released that article there, and one of the comments was like, well, that's politically driven. I was like, maybe not. But then yesterday, I get a message from Cindy Byrd's camp. I got a lot of text messages as well, besides all these mailers. And there's the 3 people arrested. Cindy Byrd did this. I'm like, okay, that looks. I don't know if the timing was there, but now that I got the text message,
now saying all that, okay,
crap.
If they are guilty, the proof's in the pudding. She did a pretty darn good job.
Pretty good.
So I mean, you know, if and listen, they haven't been to trial yet. Don't look good, but they haven't been to trial yet, right? But you can't argue with the fact that it looks to me like she did a pretty good job.
Well, and I like Cindy. I've met her a couple times, and I like what I get her newsletters and all that good stuff as well. Now she's going up against Steve McQuillan, and there's been a lot of these mailers. But I will know, and we'll mention this again here in a little bit. When you get these mailers, and I know a lot of people just throw them away and just and tired of it. But if you do get the mailers, I would recommend that you look to see who paid for that advertisement. And again, I've gotten probably 10 of these from this gentleman, but it's not from him. In fact, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Authorized and paid for by American Values First. That's who paid for that. I don't think he's raised money to send me a mailer. All this is coming, and is Epic Charter Schools funding part of this still because they don't like Cindy Byrd because they've gone after her? So let's get her out of office.
Supposedly they put $1 million towards it.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
I got the email. Cindy Bird's newsletter said that $1 million of dark money.
Supposedly.
Yeah. Is
and we don't know
her.
that for a fact, but supposedly.
So.
Politics. You ever think what our founding fathers sat around? I mean, when they look down, or in some cases up, do you ever think they sit there and go, well, that wasn't what we really had in mind?
No, that's not what we meant.
No. Joe Rogan said one of the funniest things I've ever heard. Of course, Joe Rogan's probably my favorite podcaster in the world.
Oh, next to us.
Well, us.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, outside the family.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't quite have the reach we do, but anyway, he
We're streaming
said
26 strong people live on Facebook.
He says
billions on YouTube.
He said I always have this mental picture of, and he did 2 of the founding fathers. I don't remember who it was, but said they're sitting around, they're up in heaven, they're looking down at us and going, "You haven't changed anything."
I know. I think about that all the time.
He's like,
nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed. He said we didn't have electricity when we wrote this.
I agree with that.
Well, it's the greatest document ever written. What needs to be changed about it?
Well, I can make a strong argument when it was written. It wasn't the greatest document ever to be written.
It is now. My goodness.
Well, I mean, they obviously were off the mark on a couple pretty critical issues, but
they were on their A game. But times change.
Times change. That's my whole point. I mean, times change. We got a text about one of the candidates saying, "No, they supported this, and my question back was, "Well, I need a little more facts than that." I mean, you can paint that the topic that was being discussed. You can paint that any way you want to paint it without knowing the details of it. So,
all right. So Cindy Bird, and I think Cindy is the favorite on the Republican.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't
doubt that. So we shall see. Okay, this one's interesting here for me for the Attorney General. So you got Joan O'Connor taking on Gintner Drummond. Gintner Drummond ran for this race against in 2018. Oh my gosh, what's his name? Mike Hunter. And Hunter resigned. Joan O'Connor was appointed by Kevin Stitt 10, 11 months ago. Yeah. So O'Connor is, and this is where Kevin Stitt or O'Connor had some commercials, and they were kind of maybe Kevin Stitt had a commercial, had Joan O'Connor, and maybe some ethics violation there. But so Joan O'Connor appointed. Gintner Drummond ran for the statewide race, lost by just a couple hundred votes, probably.
Yeah.
He was really, really close. I can tell you, Gintner Drummond has been to Guthrie, I know, one time for sure. I'm not sure about John O'Connor. The only thing I can say about this race, besides I got a couple millers from both candidates at my residence. I watched the forum between these two, and granted, they are attorneys, so that's what they do for a living. But I thought O'Connor was a little too aggressive in attacking Gintner Drummond.
Well, I think I agree with that.
Whether that's right or wrong, whether he had the right points to go after him, I'm not 100% sure. I'm sure there's something in the middle, but
according to Drummond, he was lying.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Drummond.
It'd be a little hard not to come back aggressive when somebody puts out. Well, let me see here. Who mailed this out?
There you go.
This one was authorized as friends of Drummond.
Okay.
Friends.
So that's
a letter from American
him.
Bar Association. Where does it say on here? Where would it say? Authorized and paid for by friends of Gintner. So he wrote this one too.
Yeah.
So when he says lying about Gintner Drummond, lying to a judge, and overbilling his clients, well, he basically called him a thief and a liar. Not basically, he called him a thief and a liar.
Yeah.
It'd be a little hard not to come a little hard at somebody if they're doing that. Now, I've met Gintner Drummond before, and I asked some people that are in the legal profession that
I'm undecided right now, so
that
I
know
can go
that know both of them, and I said O'Connor or Drummond, and there was two of them in the room that work very intimately with the AG's office, and both
Attorney
of them
General.
and both of them immediately said O'Connor.
Wow.
Immediately.
That's what I've heard.
Immediately.
Everybody I've talked to.
There wasn't a hesitation. There wasn't a thought. Yeah. There wasn't they both got redeemed immediately. Then another one of the gentlemen said Drummond's own family's not even voting for him. he said, I know the family. And I'm like, well, okay. But and again, I've met Mr. Drummond. He's got a very impressive resume.
He does. Here's a big.
Now, I will say this. I think people that haven't built their business themselves should always have to file a disclaimer. Business was built by grandfather and father, because I think it gives kind of the wrong impression.
Like he
bootstrapped it. And listen,
you still got to carry that on.
Absolutely, it is what it is, but.
Very successtal on many different
fronts. Very successful military guy. Very successful pilot in the Air Force.
Here's the one thing that was a big topic in there. Gintner Drummond is supported by the tribes. Of course, O'Connor is going against the tribes.
Correct.
So that's
he's in the same boat as Stitt.
Yeah.
And these are the things I don't like, because I asked this question. There's one quote, conservative values, that says Gintner is a strong conservative who is 100% pro-life and will fight the Biden administration overreach. Obviously, this came out before last week. O'Connor pledged to Democratic senators that he would faithfully apply the Roe versus Wade decision that enshrined abortion rights. Well, he's Attorney General. He's got to follow got to follow the rules at that time.
Correct. That are given to him.
I mean, so I think there's just a lot of stuff that goes. There's just a lot of stuff that what I don't like about these is a lot of people will make their voting decision off one of these.
Ooh, that scares me.
And they'll take it as the gospel.
Yeah.
And
I love candidate forums.
And I do not know if Ginter Drummond or John O'Connor, and that's the reason I asked the question, because it's hard to really peel through the onions on these two and find out what's real.
Right.
But I just went and asked people that know both of them and work with them, that have worked with them in either in legal capacities or business capacities or whatever. And like I said, it wasn't even a hesitation. So
yeah, I go back and forth. Drummond came and spoke here in Guthrie, and I was very impressed with what he had to say and all that good stuff. The other side with O'Connor is appointed by Stitt. So will the Attorney General agree with everything that the governor wants, and he'll do exactly what the governor wants because the governor appointed him? Is it all the good old boy system?
But that's like saying that a member of the press can't be impartial.
Yeah.
I mean, and they obviously can.
Sure.
I mean, so there's certain jobs out there.
And I'm thinking out loud because
but there's certain jobs out there, professions, that no matter what you do, you're gonna get people taking shots at you.
Oh, absolutely.
It doesn't matter what you do.
We're doing the show. We're gonna get shots taken.
Absolutely.
At us. Yeah.
Our county, our city council people get shots all the time. Some decisions I agree with, some decisions I don't, but they're doing the best job they can.
Right.
And that's why you just got to make informed decisions and freaking go down the road. You can't, it's not a absolute, but I thought the O'Connor and Drummond, that's a very interesting race, to say the least.
Yeah, it really is. And so I'm going to have to say my prayers, and I don't know. I'm just going to have to I can already tell I'm going to be at the ballot box, and it might be the last one I even fill out. I'm like, oh boy, now I got to really make a decision here. So it's one quick comment. Talk about no fires or cult fires. James Croft,
we'll get there.
We will get there. I promise that. We're going to address every single thing on here. That's probably when people will never like us again. So
that's okay.
That's okay. All right. For state treasurer on the Republican ballot, Clark Jolly, Todd Russ, and David Hooten. And Clark Jolly, former state rep. Todd Russ, I think, just termed out from being a state rep. And David Hooten, David Hooten, the Oklahoma County clerk that just resigned. With all the
had a little problem.
Yeah, with employees drinking.
Had a little problem.
And all that good stuff. So
I don't like his chances.
No, I don't think that helped him.
Probably could have saved that filing fee.
Yeah. So this is, I think, for me, I don't know a whole lot about all these candidates. Clark Jolly came and spoke at the Logan County Republican, and I think I'm leaning toward him on my ballot. I think Todd Russ will finish second, Hooten a distance third. I don't think Hooten had a chance with these two guys, but I really now with the Oklahoma County
there's no chance now.
Chance.
Yeah, Jolly's going to get my vote. I think I think he'll do a good job, and we'll go down the road.
Okay, here we go. And I'm going in order of the ballot here. So.
Oh, we are? So we're going local now?
No.
No. Oh, we getting to Mr. Langford?
No, not yet.
Oh, boy. Oh, he's got a better one than that?
I think so.
Oh, no.
I think so. I got to be.
I love it when little buddy gets nervous.
This group of folks have had like 4 or 5 forums.
Okay.
And I've watched every single one of them.
Well, you got a little bit of a problem. There's an intervention in your future.
Superintendent of Public Instruction.
Oh, this is easy.
This is easy?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we're just picking the winner, right?
There's the green ones there.
Yeah.
So Republican ballot.
40,000, 60. Jeez. Let me see here.
That's a statewide race.
Oh, yeah.
April Grace, Ryan Walters, John Cox, and William Crozier. I can tell you William Crozier will finish a distance fourth, older gentleman, but he won't win this June 28th election, but his stories and he's must-watch the candidate forums. You never know where he's going to go on anything. And
I love that.
It's crazy. The moderators are like, I don't know what just happened, but okay.
All righty then.
So it's a three people race: April Grace, Ryan Walters, John Cox. So John Cox. April Grace is the superintendent at Shawnee Public Schools. Ryan Walters right now, he's from McAllister. Right now, Ryan Walters is the Secretary of Education for Governor Kevin Stitt, who appointed him to that position. And John Cox is I do believe, a superintendent of a small school. And John Cox has ran multiple times. He ran as a Democrat a couple times. Now here he is as
You don't give a Republican a shot.
He's trying them all.
So, and he was asked
Who's running as an independent?
He was asked that question at one of the forums.
And what did he say?
I answered it well. He's always been a Republican. He just, I can't remember. I don't want to speak for him because I kind of forgot how.
Well, I don't think I can trust him.
Yeah. So you have that. You don't know if you could trust him. You have April Grace, the superintendent of Shawnee, who's had in the news with the former basketball coach Ron Arthur, which, by the way, some of those charges, the biggest charge was dropped in a sexual case there. But she was a superintendent, not for the entire time there, but toward the end. And they were asked her that question in the forum, and she said, "There's a lot of things I can't talk about." Legal deal there.
Sure.
So, which is true. And then Ryan Walters, another Kevin Stitt appointee that. With the
get it out, little buddy. Get it out. This is one time I'm not going to say. I'm just going to let him run with this.
You always bail him out by talking.
He's very heavy on the vouchers and where that money should go. He's very heavy. He's very heavy on Parents' Choice, which Parents' Choice I totally agree with. From homeschooling to private school to public school to charter school, I have no problem with that. Yeah. Now, how the money is, that's another thing, and that's a big topic.
Well, who sends that money in?
Who what?
Who sends that money in?
Those parents.
Those parents?
Yeah.
So they shouldn't have a voice on where the money goes? That's an interesting concept.
It is an interesting conversation. But if you can private, okay.
This is all coming together so
already
right
is.
now. Unbutton your shirt a little bit.
Yeah, it is warm here. Something you get air conditioner fixed in here. I come back to this. It's every school district. It's Guthrie. It's Piedmont. But I was thinking those kids that have no options. They have no choice.
Sure.
Where they go to school.
Sure.
They're going to have to get that free meal. They're going to have everything given to them because.
Do you think they're not going to get it if the vouchers pass?
That's the part I don't know. That's the part that scares
me.
Do
you really think that there's going to be? Okay, I'm just going to pick on a school right now.
Okay.
We have a school in this state that just passed a bond issue for $34 million.
I think Oklahoma City and Tulsa schools. The big.
I understand,
okay.
but this right outside of Tulsa.
Okay.
The suburb of Tulsa, to basically paint a football stadium.
Tulsa Union.
So I mean,
there's more than just paint.
No, I know I'm being, but do you really think there's not going to be food for the children in the schools?
No, I think so.
So then why do we even bring that up?
So how much money would go away from public schools?
I'm not saying it wouldn't hurt.
Yeah.
But when people talk about
where does it hurt at then?
Right.
Would be my question.
Right. No, it's legitimate. It's a legitimate concern. I'm not making light of that. It's a tough one because I can see both sides.
I see both sides as well. And I guess I'm more of a traditionalist, which is good and bad.
Well, no, I think
because things do change over time.
Sure, they do.
I agree.
But I don't,
I guess my biggest hang-up is I don't know how much money leaves each school district.
Right.
And those kids who are going to private school, obviously their parents can pay for that, afford that. In most cases, not every case.
Cases.
I know some that.
In most cases,
are tight.
How are they going to school there? Some of those kids.
Well, you got to pay tuition.
No, I'm saying some of those kids where it's tight. How are they getting there?
Well,
I mean, hypothetically, if there was a running back from Piedmont that transferred to a private school whose dad's a truck driver, how's he affording that?
Well, you can work in the concession stand.
Scholarships.
Grandma.
Grandma.
Yeah, pay for tuition.
No, I'm making light of this.
No,
it's a serious subject.
It is very, and I see both sides.
I do too. I think where it's going to fall, in my very humble opinion, is I think the venom against Mr. Walters is at an all-time high.
And it's not just Walters, because everything that he says is exactly what the governor says.
Correct.
Kevin Stitt.
So I think it's a statewide election, and I understand he won't carry a lot of school teachers. I mean, and I get that.
Yeah.
And he won't carry administrators in private schools. But I think there's an awful lot of people in the state of Oklahoma that believe that, because all they hear is parents should have a say-so.
Parents' choice.
Parents' choice. That's all they hear. And they're tired of everybody telling them that they don't have a say. So I think, I don't know how much, I mean, and again, I'm not saying it wouldn't cause problems. It obviously would, because it's real money going to different schools. It's going to be a problem. So that could mean add that to the list of that we got to pay more for in our own districts.
Yeah.
Right? So I get it. It's a real problem. But, I think you're going to hear parents' choice, and they're going to quit listening to a lot of other stuff.
It's going to be very interesting on this race, because I don't think Ryan Walters is more flamboyant. He's more out there. He's more aggressive than the other two. Yeah. I guess the other three candidates as well in that one. So this one's going to be interesting to watch here, because I have no idea who's going to win this race.
Now, he was an educator, right?
Yeah, he's from McAllister.
Right.
He's taught public school, and I think he's also touched in private school as well.
See, I think
there's a lot, as all politicians, there's financial backing from different groups that are support.
Well, like this one here, not authorized by any candidate or candidate community.
So he didn't send that one.
He did not send this one, right? But it says outsider reformer teacher, Ryan Walters for state superintendent. Every child deserves a quality education, regardless of zip code. As a father, Ryan Walters will fight to empower parents in their child's education. As an educator, he will ensure support for rural schools. And then on the back it says, and this is where I think it's going to matter, it says, growing up in southeast Oklahoma, Ryan understands the education needs of rural communities. There's a lot of voters in rural communities. He'll strengthen rural schools to provide a higher quality education for Oklahoma's future. Ryan Walters will be a champion for all students. I don't know if any of this is true.
Right.
I mean, I don't. That's always part of the craziness of elections. But I do know that I think there's some key words in there that people in Oklahoma really resonate to.
And he's been saying those key words very loud.
So, I mean, I think
I'm not saying if he's elected, he's just going to completely forget about public schools. I mean, he was a teacher 8 years at McAllister High School, a Class 5A school, much
public
like
school.
Guthrie. So, public school. So I'm not saying
best
it's going to
football player in 5A, by the way, perhaps the state.
Probably McCarty. But can't wait till those high school shows, sports comes back.
I know.
But it'll be interesting. I don't know if I can pick a winner.
I think it's going to be a really close race.
But that's the deal. I don't know if it's going to be April Grace or John Cox. I don't know.
I think it'll be April Grace.
Well, I have a lot of people that support April Grace, but I thought John Cox did a pretty good job at those forums.
The big knock on Mr. Cox is he's ran 19,000 times. That's an embellishment, obviously.
Yeah,
he's a Democrat, and he's a Republican. That's going to hurt him a little bit with some people. Some people think his experience doesn't qualify him for this big of a job. We've talked to people in education that feel that way. So, it's all could be accurate, or all could be not accurate.
Well,
I mean,
with three or more people in a race, and remember, with multiple people in here, if you don't get 50% plus one vote, there is a runoff in August 23rd, I think. So if the candidate doesn't get 50%, then we might have an April Grace, Ryan Walters.
I think that one very well could be.
Yeah, I think so. It's always tough to get 50% when you have three or more people.
Got a couple other ones that way too.
Yeah, absolutely. So I knew that one will be interesting. Yeah. I have no idea.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a good one.
It's gonna be a good one because it's a hot issue.
I honestly hope there's a runoff so I can learn more about all that stuff.
Yeah.
Really do. Oh, got that one over with.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you pushed through that.
Yeah.
There you go.
It is hot in here, too.
Tough day for little buddy.
All right. I've had.
Chris obviously didn't grow up in the hayfield.
All right. Next race.
We had window units, Phil.
Oh, I know.
Commissioner of Labor.
Oh, boy. Can I just say this?
You're going to anyway.
No. I mean, this is really because when we got to this, when we were doing that ballot earlier, Tanya and I said, she goes, what about this? I said, none of those matter. Just throwaway positions. Just
So, like
they don't have any real authority. Just go ahead.
Until
everybody else going to tell them what to do?
Yeah. Are you talking about Commissioner of Labor?
That one, a couple others
that
we'll talk about.
Okay.
But I don't.
The Commissioner of Labor is going to make sure the silver bullet doesn't lock up and have people stuck at the top of the silver bullet. That's what the
Silver bullet?
Yeah, Frontier City.
Oh boy.
And carnival rides, these are the people that approve all. I guess the elevators.
All right.
You go in the elevator, they have to have all that stuff. It says Commissioner of Labor.
We got cheated on an elevator one night, taken advantage of.
So Sean Roberts, the incumbent right now is Leslie Osborne. She is a former state rep. Keith Swinton and Sean Roberts. Sean Roberts also, I do believe Sean Roberts, House of Reps as well. I think I got a Sean Roberts mailer, but anyway, we won't spend a whole lot of time on this one, but
yeah, I don't know anything about him, and I really do feel like it's a job that it's obviously an important job, but there's a lot of restraints on what they can personally do or not do. I mean, they're going to follow whatever the law is. They're going to have to follow that law. They can't. It's not a position where they can influence policy.
yeah.
I mean, I mean they could.
Kind of like the treasurer. You just kind of.
That's another one I've talked about.
Yeah.
But,
Moving on.
Yeah.
In other words.
All right. Corporation Commissioner.
And that's the third one.
These people have votes on your electric bills.
What? I know.
So this one's.
Well, they're going to do whatever OG&E wants.
Oh.
I mean, they are.
I hope not.
Well, they are.
They've gone against them a few times.
Really? How many times have been before them?
Well, I don't know. I don't have my
8,743,000 times. Went against them twice. No. I'm playing. I don't. Obviously.
Kim David's the big favorite in there.
Big favorite,
She was in the state senate, termed out there, and I think she'll win pretty easy. I think she'll get above 50% in a 4-person race. I think she'll get above that. So Todd Thompson, Harold Spradling, and Justin Hornback on the ballot for Corporation Commissioner. Folks, you can comment as well. The comments aren't working on the screen, so your name is not going to be on the screen. But we might
kill it for a couple of them.
But we might, But we can still say the comment out loud.
Oh yeah, I'll be glad to.
Even better. Okay. Here we go, Philip. This is your territory. You're the big U.S. guy. I'm the local guy. You're the federal guy.
Okay.
But here we go.
Everybody.
And this is one of those races that people will counsel you in a heartbeat because it's one way or the other. There's no in between on this.
No, we wouldn't want to do that.
United States State Senator.
Wouldn't want to have an actual conversation.
James Langford, Joan Farr, and Jackson Lawmeyer.
Yeah. Well, I think everybody feels it's the incumbent Langford and Longmire, I think, are the two that everybody talks about. Yeah.
And so I'll just say Jackson Lawmeyer, a pastor, preacher in Owasso, has a church there.
Yeah.
He is.
Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah.
You're doing fine.
I'm trying to think of the right word to say.
Keep going. You're right there. You're almost at the finish line.
Right there. Just say
You're almost at the finish line.
I don't know if it's the right word to say.
Well, it's all right. It's open mic.
It's open mic.
No, listen. Just say it. Say what's on your mind.
So there's moderate Republicans. There's moderate Democrats. But
what's he? I mean, just say it.
The far side of the right side.
Go ahead. Just say it.
Is it
just say
the far right?
Is radical? Is that?
Oh, I wouldn't have said that.
I don't know the word for that.
Yeah,
yes, that's correct.
Yeah. Most people would
constitutional.
Well, most people would refer to the far right.
The far right. Yeah.
The far left. You got.
Okay.
You know,
honestly, I wasn't. I'm trying.
No, I know that, but we just like watching you struggle. No,
all comes down January 6th.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and
because Langford.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But listen, okay, you think you're nervous. I'm getting ready to say something.
You're the federal guy, so
it's going to offend a lot of people.
You.
I was furious
I know
when
how
January
I'm voting.
6th happened.
I do know how I'm voting.
I was freaking livid when January 6th happened, because that's our house. And we've all seen film, and I'm not talking about President Trump's involvement or not involvement. I'm not talking about that.
Yeah.
The morons that did that in our house get whatever they have coming. Now, I'll say this. The people that burned our cities before should have got the same thing.
Yep.
That's the problem I have. I mean, you're out there looting and burning buildings and harming people and doing all this stuff, and to government buildings. It wasn't our house, but it's still a government building. And even if it's just a private building. So you're okay with destroying somebody's livelihood because you're upset and just stood back and watched for the most part.
Kind of stuff that's going on right now.
Stuff's going on right now. So, but I think anybody, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, that breaks the freaking law should go to jail.
Yep.
I don't care about what you're...
Or have their day in court.
But they should not get a pass. Every one of those people that charged in there and did that, whether you're upset, you believe what you believe, it's the wrong darn way to handle a situation. Mm-hmm. And anybody that says it's not, I don't care if you like me. I mean, I really don't. I don't care.
Let me ask you, you guys follow the federal stuff a lot, or the national scene a lot closer than I do. And I guess I don't look at it because I know you guys will fill me in on that stuff. I'm more of a state and local. You guys are too, but I really concentrate on this. So help me understand, because if I don't understand, maybe folks out there don't understand as well. Lankford voted did he vote that the election process is what it is and voted against?
Yeah, he voted to
validate the election.
I mean, and listen, do I think, I'll tell you this, I'm 56 years old. It's the first election I ever heard this. We're going to stop counting ballots tonight.
Yeah.
Never heard that in my life.
We'll start tomorrow.
Never heard that in my life.
I never heard that. We won't know.
So I'm not, yeah.
On the election night, they said, well, we won't know who won tonight. We might not know in 2 weeks. I never heard that one either.
That's what I'm saying. So were there irregularities? Absolutely.
Yeah,
okay?
Totally agree.
Okay? But at some point, there's got to be hard, proof, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, and sometimes people do stuff and they can never prove they did it. So I'm not discounting people's emotions or how they feel about that. What I'm saying is it's simply wrong. At some point, the sitting president has to stand up and still be the president, even if it looks like he's lost the election.
For the country.
For the country. I had 7 friends and 1 acquaintance before I said this. I'm gonna be down a couple friends.
This is what we talk. Before you said that, this is what we talk about, having a discussion, and you're not going to agree, but we can have a civil discussion about this.
I just truly believe that President Trump was so angry that the writing was on the wall at that point. It looked like it wasn't going to go his way. Listen, all these Republicans that were in his cabinet, all these Republicans that were around him, they're all not lying about what happened. I mean, that's just common sense. Can we agree with that?
Yeah, it's not a mass illusion.
Right. So if they are saying numerous people told him you really need to do something, and he didn't, and he ultimately did, right? After a pretty lengthy wait. But there should have been condemnation of people charging our capital. There just should have been. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's wrong. And at some point, you got to stand up and say, listen, the votes have been casted. They've been counted. And I know there's some people that believe it was all stolen. I get that. But I go back to at some point, you got to show the proof. And I've seen the documentary, is it 2,000 Mules?
Yep.
I watched that documentary. Obviously, some very weird stuff was going on. I'm not arguing that, okay? But at some point, for the good of the country, you got to make a peaceful transition at some point.
Yeah.
He still to this day hasn't admitted. Hasn't said that he lost.
He has not conceded the race yet.
He still to this day hasn't.
He never will.
And he never will. Yeah. But so, yeah, I think guys and gals in that position were in a horribly impossible situation.
Lankford being one of them.
Yeah. I mean, and I talked to Mr. Lankford, Senator Lankford, at 89 or at the at the 89er celebration. Him and his wife.
Well, look at you.
And, we were standing right next to you. We were interviewing somebody. Right. He came over.
Yeah. Chris flagged.
And I went up.
I was talking to local guys.
And I went up and shook his hand, and I told him.
That's right. Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah,
I went and shook his hand, and he looked like a beaten human being. He looked exhausted. His wife looked exhausted. Now, you got to realize, we're living in a world now on the federal level. There was a guy who was just arrested for traveling to a sitting Supreme Court justice's house with the intentions of killing him. Okay? We got senators saying, take it to the streets, yelling on megaphones. Mm-hmm. We got people telling people to get in their people's face if they don't agree with you. Mm-hmm. These are our leaders, supposedly, on both sides. Mm-hmm. Okay? It's insane right now.
Right.
And not one party has the market cornered on stupidity. I mean, they just don't. I mean, it's just, we need some adults to show up in D.C. is what we need. I mean, it's crazy.
James Langsford, 50% or more?
I think so.
I agree.
Yeah, I think so. I think Senator Langsford will get reelected. I think the other young man will get about around 30 to 35% of the vote.
So under 40%.
I think it's under 40%.
All right. Yeah. I agree. All right, next one. Phil, is your name on this ballot?
Which one?
There's 85 of them on
what
here.
What is it? Which option?
The unexpired term.
Oh, no, I wouldn't want it, that one.
For the United States Senator. It was held by Senator Jim Inhofe.
Yeah.
Retired. 13 candidates are on the ballot for this one here.
I feel like Oprah. You get to be a candidate. You get to be a candidate.
I will just go over some of the ones that are polling the highest.
Yeah.
That will save us some time here. Nathan Dahm.
Yeah.
He's just termed out as a state senator from Broken Arrow. Luke Holland, who was part of Jim Inhofe's staff, and Jim Inhofe is endorsing. Mark Wayne Mullen, current U.S. congressman, running for that spot there. Scott Pruitt, former Oklahoma Attorney General, also was in President Trump's cabinet. EPA, is that right?
Yeah.
EPA.
I'm convinced President Trump put him there just to make the Democrats mad. I really am.
And the other one mentioning is T.W. Shannon, former Speaker of the House, businessman.
Very close with the tribes.
Very close with the tribes, yes. That's what my next point
and
there.
And honestly, I think there's two candidates that stand out the most.
I agree.
I think Mullins and Shannon are the two front runners. This is a weird deal for me because I really like Mullen. I mean, I like him.
Got quite a few of those mailers.
Yeah, I like him. I really like Shannon.
I do too.
I mean, I like them both. I'm going to cast my ballot this way. Who do I think will work the best in the middle? Which is where I think stuff gets done.
That's what you need to have.
Well, I think so. That's where in my life, that's where things have gotten done.
Right.
And it's not Mark Wayne Mullen. I think it's Shannon that can do that. Well, now let me finish this.
Okay.
I think Mullen wins.
Okay.
But I'm going to end up voting for Shannon.
With 13 people, you would certainly think this was headed to a runoff.
Sure.
I think a lot of people, and I don't have any poll numbers and all that stuff, haven't asked for poll numbers on this, but with 13 people, there was a thought, I think it's come down a little bit, but I think there was a thought with 13 people in there that Mark Wayne could pull 50% on June 28th, tomorrow.
And he may.
Still may. I think there's a push with TW to maybe force. And honestly, I think it would be really good. There's been 3 debates, and Mark Wayne has been able to attend them because he's at the Capitol.
Right.
A lot of votes going on
Actually
right now.
working.
Yeah. And so I don't fault him for not being at this forum.
No, he's got to do his job.
I have not heard him talk like I've heard the other ones. So in a way, I hope it goes to a runoff.
Yeah.
So I can know even more. So I can see them side to side, hear them side to side.
I'll say this. I'm not going to be disappointed if Mullen wins. I'm not going to be disappointed if Shannon wins.
That's me.
I'm because I could vote for either one of these men and sleep at night. I'd be fine with it. I just think that Shannon is going to work in the middle more than Mark Wayne Mullen would. Now, I got a lot of friends that right now are yelling at me if they're watching because that's not the popular choice in my group of people. And they would say, well, we need somebody that's willing to fight. Well, I think Shannon's willing to fight too. I think it's the way he will fight. I think he is more of a moderate conservative, just personally. And I know that's a bad word with some people, and that's okay. I mean, that's fine. But either one of these men would represent us well.
I think. I am a moderate Republican because I don't like taxes, but I understand school buildings need
gotta
roofs.
have them.
They need windows.
I
understand that. Will I vote for every tax? No.
Right.
Will I vote for every TIF? No.
Yep.
But that's how I can work that way. So I'm exactly the same thing with Nathan Dahm. I think for what he believes in, does a good job for that. He's very gun. He's one of the top gun people out there, advocates out there, if not the top in the state.
My vote then.
Yeah, well, there you go. He's big on that.
Not a lot of Republicans in Oklahoma that aren't big on guns.
Yeah,
guys.
correct. Yeah,
that's not a real differentiating value proposition.
Nothing breaking there.
In case anybody's wondering, I think they're all quote unquote big on the Second Amendment, no matter if they really are or not. That's kind of one of the talking points.
In fact, you can't even run if you don't.
No,
you can't even run.
Just save your filing fee.
Yeah. But I will say, watching Dom, and there's a lot of supporters. There's people who absolutely like him. He's a nice guy, smart, missionary, does all that. But again, working with people, I don't think he can work even with moderate Republicans, because if it's not this way, then
you're done.
You're done, and that you just can't get things done.
That's the challenge I have with some of our more right Republican friends. It's not that foundationally I don't disagree with what they're saying. 9 times out of 10.
No, absolutely, yeah.
I'm like, no, yeah, I get that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But when somebody, and I'm not going to mention his name because I don't want to give him any credit, and he's not a politician, although he's very heavy in politics, and you saw this happen 4 or 5 years ago, came at me because I wasn't, I guess, conservative enough for him. First of all, not a smart thing to do.
Yeah.
Because I can promise you one thing, 10 times out of 10, I am not going to back down from anybody.
And what makes
matter what the outcome
what makes his opinion better than yours?
Right. And I was just sitting there going,
America.
I literally sat there and I said, and it was on the Second Amendment, and I literally said, I probably have more weapons in my house than 99% of the people in Logan County.
I don't know who you're talking to, but you have more than whoever you're talking about.
And I'm like, so don't
I'm going to your house with the bunker.
So don't even challenge me with the Second Amendment, But I had the audacity to say something like, well, I don't have a problem with a 5-day waiting period or something. I mean, I don't have a problem with that.
I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get approved.
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna get approved, so I don't get to walk out with the day. Okay.
All right.
I'll see you on Friday.
I was gonna say see you on Wednesday.
I mean, it's not that. I mean, doesn't mean I'm against the Second Amendment. I mean, it's just. But that's the kind of stuff that I don't understand. That people just sink their heels in. And they always say, "Well, if you give an inch, they'll take a mile." Well, okay. I mean, but but again, I think that's the difference between wanting to get to a place where you can have, this is a bad word to say in politics, compromise to come to a consensus on what's good for everybody, right? And just being far left or far right. Mm-hmm. I mean, every time somebody does that, I always think of an 8-year-old that wanted chocolate ice cream and you gave me vanilla. And I'm like, well,
when do we get ice cream?
Yeah, when do we get ice cream? I mean, easy, Ronnie.
Movie quote.
but you can't, well, then don't eat the ice cream. I don't know what to tell you. You said you wanted ice cream. I got you vanilla. I'm sorry. I didn't say you couldn't have ice cream. I mean, it's nuts. I don't, and for my opinion, at the end of the day, nobody wins when that's how you're trying to get things done. I mean, I just don't think that's how people win. And when I say people win, I'm not talking about a political party. I'm talking about the country. I'm talking about just us, the citizens of the country, win. Because we're not winning right now.
No.
And all they're doing is yelling at each other.
Yep.
It's insane.
Well, much like this one, I'm gonna have to decide at the ballot. I think on this one between Mark Wayne and T.W. Shannon.
Yeah.
I think
Like I said, I'm right there.
Yeah,
I'm right there.
Both do a great job.
Yeah.
I think we'll do a great
I think
job.
they both represent Oklahoma very, very
and they
well.
have done a good job.
They have done a good job.
They have done a good job.
So we'll see. It'll be interesting to see how it turns out.
I wouldn't mind this one going to August. I need a little bit more time.
Yeah. No, I think this one will go to August.
13 people.
There's just too darn many people.
When there's
I'll tell you this. If somebody gets 50% of the vote, it's one of the absolute greatest campaigns ever ran.
Yeah.
To pull that off with 13 people.
Absolutely.
I mean, and it could happen. Could happen.
All right, for the folks in Logan County, this is going to
boy.
be a new one.
Here we go.
On the ballot, and that's going to be District 5. Republicans with the redistricting has taken away a little bit of the Oklahoma City purple. The red and blue make purple, and now they've expanded it out. It's a little bit more red. It is what it is. It's just being truthful.
Yep.
But if the Democrats were in office, they would have done this exact same thing.
Yeah.
Exact same thing. So
No.
it is what it is. It is what it is. But
is what it
District 5 U.S. Rep Stephanie Bice, currently in office, took that spot from Kendra Horn a couple years ago in the November
Wasn't Kendra
election.
running again this year at one point?
Yes.
A little something come up.
She's running for the unexpired term of Inhofe.
Is she still running? Didn't she have a little?
You're thinking of Abby. Abby.
Oh,
Broyles.
yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're thinking of Abby Broyles.
Yeah, Abby Broyles. She was running for something, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
District 5, Stephanie Bice taking on Sabrina Banks. Sabrina Banks, another one of those candidates. What do we call them? Far right?
Just go with far right.
Far right. Is that
Far right, far
I'm trying to be fair. I want to be
far
fair.
right.
I
they're more on the far right of, you and I are moderate conservatives.
Right.
I'm more on some social things. I'm more middle.
Yeah.
On financial things, I'm far right.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I am.
Yeah.
But far right. There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay.
No, they're on the far right of conservative.
Okay.
They're on the right of the line.
Believe me, they're not insulted when you say that.
I bet.
Well, no, they're probably insulted about everything we say, but they shouldn't be because it's not derogatory. It's just a description of where they sit politically,
and that's why I was want to. That's why I was want to say. I was want to say it right because they take pride in being to the far right.
I think they call themselves constitutional conservatives.
Okay,
is which I don't like that term because that's then implying that nobody else believes in the Constitution, which is a complete crock of you know what.
Yeah.
So
Stephanie Bice, Sabrina Banks. I think Stephanie Bice.
Yeah, I think she wins it handily. Yeah, and she's done a good job.
I think so too.
I think she's done a good job.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Just getting started. She was a state senator for the longest time.
Yep.
All the liquor laws in Oklahoma. She was a big part of that. Yeah, but I think she's still learning on the job on the federal.
But I think her intention's right. She works hard. She's a good communicator. I think so there's nothing. If somebody's doing a good job, I just don't see a reason to run them out because they're doing a good job.
James Lankford, would you put him in that category?
Oh, me personally, thanks, Chris. Yeah. I think overall, Senator Lankford is doing a good job. I don't agree with everything he's done.
Sure, no, we know that.
But I think overall, he's done a good job. Personally.
So people who don't like anything that we're saying,
five people now that will not eat with me on Friday mornings now, maybe six.
So people who are watching this, do they keep watching this so they can keep getting mad, or they turn us off when they get mad?
I've noticed some of the names. There's a couple on here have been mad at me since I moved here in 2000. There's a couple that weren't mad at me before this.
Views and expressions of this open mic show, not necessarily those of Guthrie News page and its property owners.
It's okay. Politics is a touchy subject.
It is, and this is why we don't have hardly any of these at all.
Yeah, well, Chris hates them.
But it is election. I feel like we need to at least discuss it, to be fair.
Chris hates them.
To the whole deal. I do. And we're down to the local races.
Well,
the people I deal with all the time.
You're exhausted already.
All right, you guys, go ahead. I'll listen.
Oh, it's our show now.
Let's go with the county commissioners first.
Okay.
District 3, Monty Piercy and John Ray Myers are on the ballot for County Commissioner District 3. Phil, we will actually be voting on the Ronnie, I think you're on there too.
Yep.
All three of us will have this ballot.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, I again, my job, I try to be. This is open mic. It's not.
You're talking about Chris Evans. You're not talking
this is Chris Evans, and I try to be, and I will, and always will be fair on all the news that I cover. Try to be covered. I mean, people can probably say one way or another that I didn't do this or whatever. It wasn't intentional for the most part. I don't think so. I'm human as well, but I always try to be fair on this stuff. And I can tell you, Monty Piercy will be one of the greatest elected officers in Logan County.
Well,
if he's not there already,
I think he is the number one. I think Monty Piercy is by a million miles the best county commissioner we have. I think he brings.
He's been there. He's done that. He's done it a long time.
He's level-headed. He doesn't. He just. I've got about 18 uncles and great uncles that could be Monty Piercy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just just good, hardworking men.
Yep.
That's going to tell you the truth. They're going to, they're going to be there when they say they're going to be there. They're going to do what they say they're going to do. He listens to his constituents. There is no doubt, because he is in my area, that he will be getting 100% my support. I have a big old sign in my front yard. I put signs in my yard 3 times in my life, and 2 of them are this year. There was one other year. And I could not feel stronger about anything than that Monty Piercy's the right guy to be a county commissioner.
What a tough job, county commissioner.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it's a tough job. No, listen.
On roads alone.
Oh, man.
Forget about policy.
No,
just
it's
the
a
roads.
horribly tough job.
Yeah.
Horribly tough job. But nobody made him run for it. So,
this is going for his 4th term.
Yeah, I mean, he's
4th or 5th.
Monty's just the man.
Yeah. And when the camera goes off, he's same guy.
He's the same guy.
Unbelievably.
I mean, he doesn't. You get 100% what you see with Monty Piercy.
And he is a people person.
Yes.
People go up to those commissioner meetings and have their disagreements, and he listens to every single one of them. And that's not. He takes their phone calls. He is he's a good example. Now, are you going to agree with everything? Of course not. But he's going to listen to you. Well, with you, but he's going to listen to you, and he's going to tell you why that he agrees with you. He's going to tell you why he disagrees. And I think at the end of that meeting with him, you'll go, okay.
What I think about Monty is that he's going to shoot you straight. He's not going to play some silly games. He's not going to.
Correct.
He's just going to. We got one mailer, right?
One mailer.
And this kind of, to me, this kind of sums it up. This is his mailer, and this is from Monty.
Correct.
This is authorized and paid for by Monty Piercy for Logan County Commissioner number 3. This is front. It says, "Reelect Monty Piercy. I ask for your vote on the 28th. I appreciate your support to be able to continue as your commissioner." Nothing more Monty than that.
Yeah.
And then it says, and then on the back page it says, "It's my privilege to be your public servant for Logan County. My commitment to you as your county commissioner is to provide continued leadership in all areas of county government, such as county budget, jail trust authority, concerns of citizens, roads and bridges. I will continue to be an advocate for you, the taxpayers of Logan County, and ensure the citizens' best interests are well represented." Now, out of every mailer that I've received, that's probably the most honest, sincere mailer you'll ever read. Hey, I appreciate your support. I want to continue to be your public servant.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. I mean,
it's no fancy.
Well, and there's none of this getting involved in politics all over and all this underhanded crap and stuff that you see with so many people, some other commissioners. And I mean, you just see stuff that's it's just slimy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just slimy. So, but Monty's, and I'm not saying about his opponent. I don't know.
I was going to definitely bring up John Myers.
I'm just saying around the state, you see some real, just say it, some real slimy crap. You know, I mean, and the county commissioner races. Again, I'm not talking about his opponent. But the county commissioner races across the state can be some of the dirtiest.
Yeah.
You know?
John Myers, I met him once, really nice gentleman. I really don't know anything, his deal, and it's tough. I mean, county commissioners, take care of roads is your number one priority, but there are other important things. So I guess just covering Monty for the last several years, getting to know him on and off the camera. I don't think I need to go any further than when I say he's going to be one of the, if not one of the near
He'll
the
win
top.
with at least 70%.
Well, it'll be close, probably that. But again, I think he's one of the best elected officials that Logan County's ever had.
Yes, he just works hard.
Yeah,
I mean, he's just a good man. So, Monty?
And I'm not paid to say that.
No. I'm scared of Monty, so I'm kind of paid. You ever shook his hand?
Oh yeah,
That's a little scary.
Real quick, before we talk about the next county commissioner race in District 31, comment on YouTube. Of course, it's Crazy Marine. I don't know why I'm even saying this. Their name's Crazy Marine.
Oh boy,
so we don't even get a full name.
On YouTube.
Yeah,
Okay.
on YouTube. Endorsing all the rhinos we are.
Well, sure, if you want to call it that, that's okay, Crazy Marine. I'm a crazy veteran myself. We ought to meet sometime.
That's exactly what we're talking about. Rhino, by the way, Republican in name only.
Yeah,
And
listen, I am a diehard. I believe in everything that, I'm not a conservative at all. You're right, Crazy Marine. You got me tagged.
Miranda Hoyle, who we know, that's a real person. That's a real name.
Yeah.
Thank you for being up there. But she says love hearing our opinion. So thank you for that. We welcome all the
we
comments.
love hearing yours too, Crazy Marine, even if they are crazy. The name fits. Good job.
And before we get to the final two races that we'll discuss, James Croft says, I wish Phil had the pull to get Sooner Road
I'm working on
paved.
it, James. I'm working on it.
James, so is the city. The city is working on some grants.
Yeah.
They're hoping to get that not only for Sooner Road, but also 19th Street. They are working on some federal grants, hoping to pull some money to get Sooner and 19th Street paved. That is a real thing. They are working on it. It came up a couple meetings ago in the city council. They are trying to get that. It's a lot of money. It's millions of dollars that they don't have. Trying to get federal help on that. So stay tuned. They are working on that, I promise, on the city level. Yeah. Okay, County Commissioner, District number 1. This is going to be another interesting race here. A lot of back and forth, a lot of stuff on social media. It's one of those you just can't take your eyes off on this deal. It has been a little bit cleaner this time. The current commissioner in office is Marvin Goodman, and he's going up against Mark Sharpton. Mark Sharpton has won 3 elections. Now, Marvin has defeated him twice now. And so this is, Mark Sharpton's sign says re-elect Mark Sharpton.
Yeah.
Because he's been elected 3 times to the spot. Yeah. Marvin Goodman says the current commissioner in office. Yeah. To let you know I'm in office. Yeah, he wants re-election, but I'm in office, which I think is a pretty smart idea.
Pretty crafty.
Yeah, which is the right way to do it. I'd do the same thing too if I was Marvin on his signs. But it's either you vote for him or you vote for him. I mean, obviously that's what it is, but there is no, well, I don't know. I'm sure there's like 2% of you out there that are like, I can see this, I can see that. There's
no in between.
Dude.
Yeah, there's
He's
no in between.
On that
there's
deal.
no in between.
Will not be on my ballot, and I will work with either one of them.
Yeah, it's not on my ballot either.
For covering for what I do. But again, it's not. It hasn't got ugly, which is a good thing that I'm aware of.
Yeah, not that I'm aware of either.
As far as
I don't think there's any love lost between the two.
No,
there's been a couple little things.
Sure, but nothing what I envisioned, which I applaud them for doing that. Right. So, this one I can see it going both ways. Last time these two were on the ballot, there was a third person on there as well, and Mark Sharpton got the most votes in 2018, but not enough to send it to a runoff, and that's when Marvin got more votes.
Close.
Got the third party guy's vote.
Yeah,
wasn't it like? Yep. I mean, it was close.
I would have to look
votes,
at
probably. Was it that close?
And I know
it was close.
Marvin's yelling at me because we've had this discussion, and I can't remember. I can pull it up on news page, but maybe you guys are talking. I can pull it, but it was. I I'll try to look it up here in a minute.
Well, and I think and again, the county commissioner's job is a tough job.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't do it, and I wouldn't want to do it, right? So, sure, not saying that. I just like people to listen to their constituents. I mean, that's what I like. I like somebody that will listen, and it doesn't mean they have to always agree, but I just want them to listen.
Yeah.
So I think I think part of, like Chris is saying, there's really no gray area here. You're either a Marvin guy or you're a Mark guy.
Or you're anti-Marvin, anti-Mark.
Anti-Mark, right. But, and I'll say this, Chris and I have talked about this. I mean, Mark, we didn't always have the best of relationships over the years. Hell, he posted my wife's salary as a school teacher on social media
I remember
once,
that, yeah.
trying to make a point, and I'm like, well, first of all, the number's wrong. I wish you made that much. That'd be great.
That counts. That counts insurance and all retirement, all that stuff.
But I said, well, and I don't care that you posted. Neither does she. She works for the taxpayers, so post away. Who cares, right? So it hasn't been the best at times, but we're fine now. Marvin, it has not been the best with me and him either. We don't have any big problems now. That could change at any moment. But just because neither one of us are afraid to say what we think.
Correct.
So, and I'm not like pounding my chest. I'm just saying, our personalities, it could go sideways tonight.
What came to my mind, and I don't think it's fair or not, but it's set in your ways. Is that?
Yeah, hard-headed.
Is that kind of fair to
hard-headed,
say?
Hard-headed, yeah. But it's
you're not changing your opinion.
No. But saying all that,
you can though.
But I do need to say this. I respect Marvin's service to our country. He served honorably in our military for years and years and years. I respect that, the utmost respect for that. And I'm going to end it there because he's not on my ballot. And we were talking about somebody who did an endorsement, and I think it is completely disingenuous to endorse somebody or to go after somebody if you can't vote in that specific election. Yeah. I think that's wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, let the people in 2, right? In County Commissioner race 2? 1, I'm sorry. Well, it used to be 2?
Marvin?
No, 2 used to be me. Now I'm 3, right?
Yes.
Didn't they move those around?
Correct.
Okay. So Marvin and Mark are running in 1.
Correct.
Let the people in 1 decide who they want.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how we should do it. But I feel like I need to say that because none of this is a surprise to Marvin. We're very.
I've seen it.
We're very aware of whatever that relationship is.
Yeah.
He's the reason why we call it Second Banana Media.
A big thank you.
It was a big thank you. Gave us a great name, but he's the one that sent the trophy with my name on Second Banana Award to Chris. Thinking it would upset me, I thought it was hilarious. Chris could attest to this.
Yeah.
I thought, I'm just glad to get a trophy of any kind.
And then the next thing you know, we got
Banana
an
Media.
empire.
Yeah, we got Second Banana Media. So, and I'm okay with that. I got thick skin, so people can, we can go back and forth. But I do wanted to say that I have a lot of respect for Marvin's military service.
Well, I can tell you, I started covering news, Guthrie News page, about specifically county government. I don't miss very many meetings now, maybe 1 or 2 a year. Phil thinks there's a county commission meeting every Thursday. But
I literally call him, and every time he's watching a press conference, it's not good.
So when I started covering county government, I got to tail end of Mark's 3rd term. About the last 6 months is when I started covering county government. So he's always been great to me. Always had great discussions with him. Obviously, I started covering county government, and so I kind of learned as Marvin got in there. So we kind of learned together. Obviously, he's way more into it than I am. And Marvin and I have a healthy relationship. Now we can be honest with each other. We can say, this candidate is better than I was like, I don't know.
Right.
And we usually disagree for the most part.
But that's what's cool. You can have a conversation.
Yeah, and we have a great.
It doesn't have to be the end of it.
And we have a good relationship.
Yeah.
Do I agree with everything? No. Does he agree with everything with me? He remembers. He doesn't like some of the things that I do.
Sure.
And that's going to happen.
I've said this before, Chris. My wife and I, who I love more than anything or anybody on the face of this earth. Sorry, kids. We don't agree on everything.
Sure, that would be weird if you did.
So how in the hell are we supposed to agree politically with people that we don't love?
Yeah.
That we just like.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you,
or just think they're good. We just know casually. I mean, it's kind of an unrealistic expectation, just a little bit. Now, your wife, she's an angel. She's always right.
We don't agree on everything.
Is she listening?
Yeah. Okay. No. She's playing tennis with the boys right now. So let me ask you about.
Marvin and I will disagree on District 31. The race here in a little bit that we'll talk about, and he's not an idiot. He's very smart, very intelligent. But
Marvin?
Yeah,
he's a very smart guy.
Yeah.
You can see that.
Yeah.
So on the county commissioners moving back in August. So how is this the most popular position in the county as far as people wanting to know who's going to get it and voting on that stuff?
I'd say so, probably.
Because I've been to multiple social gatherings, people's house, depending what part of the county I'm in, and at least one time a night we talk about the county commissioner in that area.
Well, because it directly impacts people because they drive on the roads. They see. I mean,
roads.
It's always roads. Yeah.
I mean, so there's and I've always said this. The thing I think makes the job so hard for county commissioners looking at just the roads.
Funding.
Yeah, they got what they've got. There's always going to be more roads that need repaired than there is money to repair them.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care. Monty faces that problem. Marvin faces that problem. If Mark was elected, Mark would face that problem. That doesn't change no matter who's in office. You got this amount of money, and you always have thousands of more miles of roads that need work than you got money to fix. Yeah. So people are always mad.
Yeah.
It's all over the Facebook pages. I mean,
it's insane.
It's every day there's a road comment.
Yeah.
And I can tell you the Facebook, there's people that are 100% with Mark, 100% with Marvin, and the Facebook thing can get out of hand sometimes, and they're not fair to the entire situation.
Right.
I understand they want their candidate in, and I understand that. There's some races I feel more passionate about as well. But it is a tough, no matter who's in there. Not my ballot. Not mine. So
not my ballot.
That one I can guarantee you though. Tomorrow night when we're, I don't know if you guys will be here and you're invited. As the election numbers come in, that's the race that it will be interesting. One of the top three races that will be interesting to see who comes away with that one.
Yeah, there's no doubt, and it's. I think it's going to be wicked close.
Yeah.
I mean, extremely close.
Real quick, you guys asked me, in the runoff, Goodman received 58% of the vote, 1,356 votes to 981. That's in 6 precincts back in 2018. Okay. Yeah, 2018. So in 2014, Goodman was first elected in office following a narrow win of
that was the one I was thinking.
46 votes.
That's the one I was thinking of.
46
the
votes.
first one. Yeah. I knew one of them was really tight. Really tight. But hey, you have elections, but ballots.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And then you move on.
Yeah, that's okay. That's what it is. Let's do it. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going over the comments.
Oh, some people expect.
And I wish I could put this on the screen, Crazy Marine. I apologize.
Oh, is he back?
Watching on YouTube, and our comments aren't working on the screen, which is fine. But
what's this one say?
Rhino may have been harsh. How about endorsing all the center-right candidates? By the way, I dig you all and doing a great show. I've only been here 18 and then it cuts off. I have to go to the
Well, I mean, Crazy Marine, I'll just simply say this. It's usually not a good idea to call somebody something that everybody knows is meant to be derogatory.
Yeah.
If you don't want a reaction.
Yeah.
I mean that's just a good. We appreciate that you like it and all that, and we do. Like I said, that's what makes America great. Some people can be moderate Republicans. Some people can be more far-right Republicans. Some people can be moderate Democrats. Some people can be more far-left Democrats. That's the beauty. You know, we don't have to hate each other because we don't agree on everything.
No, because we definitely want Crazy Marine to subscribe to GNP and Second Banana Media.
But I will say, all joking aside, I mean, I will say that, we want them to, but I would also say this. I think that's part of the problem we have in our country right now.
Name calling.
Well, I'm going to pick on him a little bit, even though he apologized. But your first reaction is to call everybody here a rhino. I don't think I've ever met you because you won't say your real name. So I don't think I've ever met you. Maybe he will. Maybe it's just his call. That's okay.
And I apologize. His comment, the rest of his comment cut off, and I can't find it on YouTube. So I would read the whole thing. I apologize.
But if anybody's ever around me, I call myself a moderate Republican. Most people that my friends that are what I would call a moderate Democrat would tell you I'm probably not quite as moderate as I think. But I also don't need to sit here and justify myself to anybody either. Nor does somebody who's far right.
Right.
I mean, they have a right to feel that way. It's all good.
Ronnie, are you looking up YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah, see if you can find the full comment. I don't want to...
Oh, boy. Cousin Nathan just signed on.
Because it cuts off what his says. So Miranda says a great thing as well, going back to the county commissioner race. Some people expect... talking about the roads. Some people expect to fix the next day. Well, that's not easy. It's just not going to happen. So sorry, not sorry.
Nope,
but that's exactly right on that deal. So, well, guys, so we'll definitely be watching that race tomorrow, District 1 County Commissioner. The last race that we'll talk about is State Representative District 31. Carmen Greider, Colin Duell, and Logan Trainer. This position became available when Gary Mize, well, not available. It was up for election, but Gary Mize elected not to seek re-election. Gary had won 2 terms in office. One of those coming against Carmen Greider. Was it 2 of them?
Just yes.
One. Was it both times?
I think
I know one time for sure.
Yeah.
But apologize, I can't remember right off the top. But Carmen Greider once again running, Colin Duell running, and Logan Trainer. The 3 there. There have been 2 forums on this. The OK2A forum, which Carmen Greider and Colin Duell attended that one. And then we had the Greater Guthrie Chamber of Commerce candidate forum, and Colin Duell and Logan Trainer attended that one. So we're unable to get all 3 of them in there at the same time. Logan Trainer said he just overlooked it and should have been at the OK2A. And Carmen Greider said she had a previous engagement and couldn't be there at the City Hall candidate forum there. So we're unable to get all 3 of them in the same building. In fact, there was a Senate debate, Senate 32 or 38, I can't remember, which is far eastern Logan County. That was held at, there was a forum there for those state senator candidates, and Carmen Greider and Colin Duell both attended that and gave a 2-minute speech, and then they were done that night. And I will say on that Woodcrest deal, I give Colin Duell all a bunch of respect. And we're going to go through this entire deal here because this is a big one. Colin Duell walked into, might not be 100% support for Carmen Greider at that Woodcrest deal.
Yep.
There was multiple people, including OK2A, multiple people in there, and Colin went in there knowing that he probably had 1, 2, or 3 votes in there, I think. Super majority were Carmen Greider people endorsing her, but he still went and gave his opinion. So I thought that was big time of him. OK2A has endorsed Carmen Greider. Jason Murphy has endorsed Carmen Greider. Yep. And even though OK2A endorsed Carmen Greider, Colin still went to that forum. And I think that's a big thing. And now that I will say this, that they endorse Carmen Greider, but they also respect Colin. They have told me that, and I've seen it in the background, watching them talking with him. Now, I don't know how. My one question here as we begin this process, and I think this will probably be a lengthy discussion here, but the one thing that kind of goes, okay, I might as well put this out here real quick. I've known Colin. I've called Colin Duell's football games on the Guthrie radio. I've known him for a long, long time. I know what he's done as a man. Yes, I do have lunch with him. I don't apologize for that, but I know him pretty well. But I'm going to be fair to the process as well. But OK2A, And I don't know how they go through their endorsements. And by the way, OK2A asked me to moderate their forum, and I appreciate that. And I'd be glad to do it again. They do a lot of good stuff for Oklahoma and gun laws. They put a lot of work into that, a lot of time, a lot of lobbying, and I like the OK2A. I agree with everything. Most of the time I do agree. I think they go a little far and a little harsh at people. They kind of get more into the politics side that I would prefer for OK2A. But that's what they want to do. That I have no problem with that. That's just my little deal. But my question was, why does OK2A endorse Carmen? And I probably should ask them this question, but why do they endorse Carmen over Colin? OK2A. I mean, you talk about Colin, who's gone to Afghanistan 4 different times.
4 combat tours.
Who knows about
squad leader the last 2 years?
Yeah.
As a scrolled Army Ranger.
Now,
there's a big difference between being tabbed and scrolled.
If you
want to know what the difference is, give me a shout. 405-420-1311.
If I had here, and I think this is it, and I don't want to put words in my mouth, but if I had the Chris Evans 2A association, I would endorse Colin because I know him, I like him, all that stuff.
And that's probably why.
And that might be it.
Yeah, I think that is it.
Because I think, honestly, Carmen and Colin are going to have the same answers when it comes to red flag laws, to any of that stuff. I think they're both agree. So maybe that's how.
I think it just comes down to that's their candidate.
That's their preference, and that's
perfect. Fine.
Absolutely,
that's absolutely fine. I think for me, we find ourselves in a situation where I think in this race there's 2 viable candidates, right? I think there's 2 candidates that have worked at it a very long time. There's Colin's been here his whole life. I got to file my disclaimers too because I too eat with Carmen, and I know that some people, or excuse me, Carmen. Whew, sorry, Colin. I too eat with Colin.
Can I see those?
Yeah, I eat with Colin 3 or 4 times a week because I love him. He was friends with some of my kids, known him his whole life. I am friends with his family, and I'm sure as the heck not going to make any apologies for that. But I will say this, and I posted this today. And I've got to get this off my chest. I'm sick and tired of everybody throwing the word patriot around. I'm sick and tired of it. I'm not saying you don't have to serve in the military to love your country. I'm not suggesting that.
Right.
Okay? But for people to say things like a true patriot, yeah, you're right. With all due respect to Ms. Grider, all due respect to Mr. Trainer, you guys are probably absolutely, I don't question your patriotism one bit. Not one bit.
It's a political term.
Okay? It's a political term that, in my opinion, shouldn't be. Because there's only one candidate that went into combat with a forward operating combat unit and led people into combat for our country. That, in my definition, is a patriot. You can still be a patriot. You can still be patriotic. Colin Dool is a patriot. He's put his life on the line for our Constitution and our country and everything that we all believe in. So I just wish people would quit throwing that around, trying to imply stuff that's not. Just be intellectually honest,
right,
with what we're really talking about. I think Carmen Grider's never been to my house. I hear about how hard she's working. I know she does. But being full disclosure, never came to my house.
My house neither.
Okay.
And that mailer that we have was put in my mailbox by accident because it's my neighbor's mailer.
Maybe it's because she's very aware of how we feel, and that's okay. I don't know Miss Grider personally. I've seen her speak a few times and stuff. I'm not going to sit here and say any of the craziness that people have been floating out there. Not Colin Dool, not Logan Trainer.
Right.
Okay, and that's another thing that bothers me is social media is a great
tear somebody down to build somebody
tear somebody else down to build somebody up. I have never heard Colin Dool say one negative thing about Logan Trainer, and I've never heard him say one negative thing about Carmen Grider. Have you?
No, and just full disclosure, I haven't heard Logan or Carmen say the same thing.
Correct. Yeah. So I'm not. I think they've ran a pretty good campaign, all of them. I think they've all stayed above the board. I think they've all done stuff. But there's people that aren't directly involved, that are indirectly involved, that take it upon themselves for all sides to attack other candidates. And I think that's just, I think it's dumb. I'm holding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mailers that, to be quite frank,
this is my house alone.
yes, this is just Chris's house. To be quite frank, some of these mailers are disgusting.
Yeah.
There's no place for them, and I'm talking about stuff like this. Okay, no matter who you're supporting, Colin Dill does not support this crap.
Yeah.
Never has, never will.
In fact,
openly said in the forum the other day.
and sometimes that might work as much as they want.
It hurts Colin more than it helps him.
There's people that don't like that and will vote.
Yeah. But you can't stop. I know this isn't popular, and I'm going to sound like a horrible rhino here, but you can't stop people from sending mailers out. You have no say-so. They don't call and get your opinion. They don't call and ask you if you want them to. They just send them out.
And I learned this deal going through Chuck Hall versus I. Kelly.
Yeah.
I learned about this the first time.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, okay, Chuck. It was.
You can't.
Honestly, now
you
that
can't do
this is my
anything about
second.
it.
Yeah. You don't know where. It says Common Sense Conservatives LLC. Okay, well, let me call
narrow
you.
that down.
Let me call you up and discuss this. Well, the phone doesn't work.
Phone doesn't work.
Yep.
So nobody endorses that kind of crap.
Correct.
Or at least I know I don't. I know you don't. I know you don't. And I damn sure know Colin doesn't.
Yeah.
But even when Colin was asked about it by somebody who's very outspoken in this community, they don't really believe in their comments because they took them down when they got challenged on it. But anyway, even when there's a direct ask the question, did you, and the answer is given, no, I had nothing to do with that. They continue to perpetuate it.
Yeah.
That's the stuff that drives me crazy. Just be honest about it. There's going to be an election. I'm sure Carmen's a fine lady. I don't I don't know Carmen.
I don't know Carmen either.
But I do know Colin Duell. And so, and I've met Logan Trainer once or twice.
This is how you do it.
Yeah. I've met Logan a couple times. Very nice young man.
Yep.
You could if you took the pictures off this and you asked all of them about Second Amendment, Constitution, are you pro-life, are you pro-choice? If you went down every issue, guess what, folks? They would all answer exactly the same way.
And they
on
have.
every issue. There's not one. So when people start trying to create this great divide,
right,
it cracks me up. Okay? So now the whole deal with Logan, and I've told you this, I hope, because I don't think Logan, I think it's down between these two. I think it's Carmen or Colin.
The question is, can Logan get enough votes
to put it into a runoff
between Carmen and Colin?
Correct. But I want to say this about Logan. He hasn't been here very long in Oklahoma. People move. I moved to Oklahoma, right? So I think what's going to hurt Logan more than anything is that people just don't know him. At this time.
Oh, yeah.
I pray to God that he is as passionate about serving as he says, and I have no reason to believe he's not. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure he is. And I hope he runs again. Get a little history, because I think we need people like that. We need people that work hard, and because I agree with it. I align with the foundation of everything everybody says here. I check every box.
Yeah.
So then it comes down to, who do you think is going to do the best job representing you? Right?
Right.
And to me, it gets to be a pretty easy question at that point, based on experience, based on what you've been tried, how you've been challenged in your life, have you really stood up to the test? Who can really, it's easy to say, well, I will not do this and I will not do that. Well, I'm going to tell you something, boys and girls. We eat lunch a lot, and Colin, he is not afraid, because all of his rhinos eat with him. And he's not afraid to tell you, well, no, I think you're wrong for this reason.
Yeah.
We've had those conversations several times.
Yeah.
I believe wholeheartedly that Colin, I think Colin ultimately will win. I don't know if it will be tomorrow, but I think he ultimately will be the elected official for our area, for House Seat 31, District 31. Whether he gets it done tomorrow because there's 3 candidates, I don't know. But I know that I'm going to put my trust 10 times out of 10 in a person who's dealt with real life situations where leadership mattered, where challenges were real and they were life and death, not a political campaign, but life and death, 10 times out of 10.
And I can tell you, a lot of people, even Carmen supporters, truly like Colin as a person.
Yeah.
For everything, and if he's their rep, they're gonna like Colin. The one thing that I've kind of gotten people talking about Colin is like, I've gotten 85 of these mailers in the mail from Colin. Can you please tell him to quit sending me all these mailers?
Colin sent 4.
And I can and I just want to explain that. And again, I said this earlier. I want to say it again. Anytime you get these mailers, some people are going to get it and throw it out immediately. Some people are going to look. I always tell folks to always look and see who the mailer is paid for by. This one here is authorized and paid for by Friends of Colin Duell, 2022. There's going to be others that says not authorized by Colin Duell. So I've gotten 14 Colin Duell mailers, and for the most part, they say the same thing. But 14 of them, 4 of them have come from Colin's group. So there's 10 groups out, or there's 10 mailers that Common Sense. I don't even know who they are. They're different groups. So don't, as much as like that cult. That thing,
which is ugly and wrong.
That's ugly and wrong, and you shouldn't go off of that. Much like you shouldn't fault somebody for getting 14 mailers.
When I get these, I throw these away. When it looks like this,
well, I mean, it's just
no need to read it.
There's just.
So since we're doing,
to me, it's everything that's wrong with politics.
Yeah,
when people do
that's why a lot of people don't get into politics.
I know.
And kudos to everybody who's put their name on the ballot.
That's the reason, and 14 others, that I've never gotten into politics. There's 14 others. 15.
There's 17. I can tell you right off the top of my head.
There's 2 I'm missing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
17 additional.
Oh, additional. Jeez.
Let me get a word in between you two. All right, give me a second here.
You've had a mic the whole night. All you got to do is
you've been
move your
talking
lips.
the entire time.
Use
It's okay.
your words, Ron.
But since we're doing full disclosure, I do not have lunch with Colin. And as a matter of fact,
you can moderate a forum then.
He came.
Yeah, you can't moderate a forum.
I moved back last August, like I always say. He visited our house.
Yeah.
Nobody else visited our house.
Yeah. He knocked my door.
He knocked on my door. I mean, he comes knock door on door, and he's like, "Oh, hey, how are you doing?" You know.
Yeah.
So
Oh, he knew who.
So
you were.
I had to do. So I did my research just because you're somebody I knew in the past, a friend, possibly.
You still got to do your research.
I'm still going to do my research, and I can tell you, going through all 3 candidates. Logan Trainer's a nice guy. Met him the other day at the forum.
He's a nice guy.
Great story. Yep. You know, I haven't met Carmen. She didn't show up to the 8-9er parade. Didn't get to meet her there. She didn't show up to the forum. Don't know anything about her. But talking to Colin multiple times, because I go to several community stuff with our business stuff. We go to a lot of stuff, and he's always there. You know, he's always there, meeting everybody, taking questions. So I know what kind of man he is, just from the small time I get here. Of course, listen to you guys and everybody else that I've been around. So he's 100% going to get my vote and my wife's vote tomorrow because, again, he's proven it to us. And, again, just because I know you or in the past doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get my endorsement. Yeah,
Colin knocked my door and asked for my endorsement, and that's who I will be voting for as well. I'll be voting for Colin Duell. Carmen's been in my neighborhood. She hasn't knocked my door.
She's been in my neighborhood, too.
She's been in my neighborhood a couple of times. And maybe she doesn't like me, but I kind of got the impression that she didn't really at the OK2A. And anytime I do OK2A forum or I moderate anything, I'm going to be fair on my responsibilities as news page. I try my hardest. It drives people crazy that I'm too fair. It drives people crazy.
Dang, Chris.
But
it's crazy.
Crazy concept.
I absolutely will be voting for Colin Duell.
Yeah.
And I've met Carmen one time. It was at the OK2A forum. And it was just a hello. I told her great job on the question that she did. And I wish she would knock my door so we can have a conversation, but she never did that. So, but not that would ever change, but I have known Colin, and I truly 100% believe he would do the right thing for everybody. And I think Colin is a person that we talk about Monty doing this. I think Colin will listen to you, even if you're far left, you're far right, you're in the middle. I think Colin understands all views of everybody and is approachable. He'll, at the best, can take your phone call or reply to your email, text message, all that stuff. I think Colin would do that for you. You might not agree because, trust me, Colin and I don't agree on the deal. We went back and forth, and he put up some good points. I countered with him. He had another good. I was like, you know what? I see what you're saying. It makes sense. I can't get there.
But I see what you're saying.
But I see what you're saying. It made me think even deeper. I was like, well, I think I'm right, but I do see. And that's what all this is about, is having those discussions with those that you trust as well.
Right.
And
I think this is really an election about two areas. It's about South Logan County and the city of city of Guthrie.
Yep.
You know, I mean, it's no secret
No,
where
it's
the
not.
mass majority of Carmen's support comes from. Not all, I'm being fair, but the mass majority is in South Logan County, and that's okay. And Colin is going to really will carry Guthrie by a mile because
same as Gary did the same thing.
Same as Gary did. All of these, this one means more to us simply because we've known him so long. I mean, it does to me anyway. I mean, I'll say this. I'm not in the media. I'm just a fat knucklehead that gets up here and likes to run his mouth. You know, and I could say a lot of things I'm not going to say. I'm just going to say that I know Colin's the man he presents himself to be. He is who he says he is, and that's enough for me.
Approachable.
Yeah.
We'll listen.
Yeah.
I know he loves Guthrie. And Logan's new here. I've sat down and had an interview with him right here.
Nice guy.
And there was some things that were said about him that he was planted here to do this, and that. Not true. There was a lot of stuff thrown out there about him that after talking to him.
Steroid implant.
Yeah.
I've heard
After
that.
talking to him for an hour, it's not Logan. No, that's not the case.
Can we just say this? And I love me a good old conspiracy theory. True?
Oh, I know a few others that are.
I love me a good old conspiracy theory. Everything's not a conspiracy, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not. I hate to break people's hearts. Everything's not a conspiracy.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just is what it really is. And, some people get upset and their whole life revolves around politics. And it's just insane. It's just insane.
The politics, I can dip my toe in, understand a little bit, but I don't know how they do it year round.
Well,
and again,
some people, their whole self-worth is tied into
you can't get ice cream
politics.
Because this senator did this about ice cream, so I can't.
You shop there?
I can't go there because
I can. You shouldn't shop. Well, why shouldn't I shop?
The vice president was eating strawberry. Well, I can't eat strawberry ice cream anymore.
Strawberry ice cream.
Phil, there's some place you don't go to.
Well, but I'm right.
I'm glad you said. I was thinking.
Walgreens. He's not going to Walgreens.
Well, do we really want to get into this?
You're not wearing any Nike.
What movie is this out of?
Yeah, easy on the microphone.
What's this? What movie is this out of? There's a mic.
I have no idea.
One of the Rambos.
We had open mic last week. We know he doesn't know anything about movies.
When he says, "I'm coming for you," squeezes the mic.
You're not wearing any Nike gear.
Yeah.
Well, they're a communist country. Why would I do that? No, people have a right to feel the way they feel.
Oh, Josh Seabolt beat, by the way.
Did what?
No Nike for Phil. I didn't see that. I just knew that right off.
No Nike for Phil.
Hey,
but I also have protested Walmart for a window of time. Then I realized me and her, we can't live without each other. So I had to roll that back in.
A couple of restaurants in town.
Well, but we're back.
If you were to get Hey Dudes, what size shoe would you wear, Ronnie?
11.
11? What size shoe would you
I'm
wear?
a solid 13.
Okay, I'm 13 as well. Someone was asking me about that today. So
Oh, boy.
There's some.
There's some shenanigans going on.
Well, I don't know shenanigans, but
Probably going on.
so 11,
some banana
13,
Hey Dudes?
and
I'm
13.
a 13, yeah.
Okay. I thought that was the case, but
No,
the person I talked to today.
Boy, Josh.
So,
Josh got me.
all
on
right.
that.
So I know we've gone long, but I was wanting to be as fair as possible. Again, as expected, we were called a few names, and he apologized. We appreciate that.
Did he apologize?
Yeah, I think.
I'd just like to know who he really is.
Well, I don't know if we'll ever know that. He said Rhino may have been harsh.
Maybe just a little.
How about endorsing all the center-right candidates? Center-right.
What does that mean? What is center right? You're going to have to help me. You obviously spend more time in this than I do.
I dig you all, and great show.
Thank you.
I've only been here 18, and then it cuts off. I apologize.
I'm going to say months.
Months, probably, not years.
Yeah, that's okay. No, listen, he wants to call me. He can call us a rhino. That's okay. It's his opinion. But
he also says this. Just came in here 21 seconds ago. I'm not sure why my comments keep disagreeing But the more I hear you, Phil, oh God, you know what? Let's go back to Rhino talk. The more I hear Phil, the closer we are. I look forward to meeting you someday.
Hey, 405-420-1311. Give me a call. If you can't reach me at that number, call me at my primary number, 405-826-3000.
This couldn't come at a better time.
826-3000.
No, we can't. Are we wrapping up?
Well, Dr. Simpson says about time to round third and head home, boys.
Okay. Before we head home, Mike.
He's starting to get an
he's
idea.
good at this. Yeah, he's good at this.
Yeah.
Before we head home, though, we got to spend a couple minutes, you giving us your official, I know you did a little thing on Facebook. Top Gun. You saw Top Gun last week.
I did see Top Gun.
Just the first one?
Oh, yeah.
Just first one.
No, he's baby step.
Yeah.
Took him 40 years to see the first one.
Oh, it came out in 1986.
What year were you born?
78.
I was 8 years old.
You were 8 years old. And how old are you now? How old are you now?
I can't even do the math that fast.
How old are you now?
I don't know. He just had a birthday in March.
40, is it 3 or 4?
4.
44. So, folks, like I like to tell you, he's not as young as you think, and he's not as nice as you think. But you really, it made the cut, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you think it's a great movie, good movie?
We're on a show that's being fair, right?
It's open mic.
I almost, you know what? Can I retract that?
No, I want to hear it.
Oh, no. We were doing so good.
Good movie. A little cheesy at times.
It was made when I was still wearing a mullet, for God's sake.
You had hair back then.
Of course it was more of a high and tight. I was in the military at that point, but cheesy?
Maverick, I mean,
You didn't like the I thought maybe we could all start doing the
volleyball in the jeans.
when they high five, they go over
Yeah.
Me and David Wilson did that a lot.
I can't grow the mustache. I can't grow the mustache.
As you shouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now I know Maverick.
You got to go see Maverick.
I didn't tell you. You were on vacation. So I'm having
working vacation.
I make a
Second one 10 times better. I would agree with you, Josh. I think Maverick is one of the better movies I've seen in quite some time.
It's the best movie made in the last 20 years.
Yeah, let's slow down. That's a whole nother show.
Speaking of your little Top Gun movie, I got to share this. And we're on Facebook too,
ahead,
so
Goose.
maybe the Facebook people are watching. You're my wingman, right?
Well,
See now, I know what that means now.
Wait,
It's awesome.
wait, yes, second banana.
Yeah,
I'm your wingman.
Yeah,
Wait, we didn't go over.
It's okay.
okay.
It's okay.
You guys are bromance a little too much right now.
It's all coming together now.
Chris just got her a few minutes.
Okay, so I do a Facebook video, and I got Top Gun in the background, the celebration return. Yeah, and so people are commenting, having a good time, mocking me, all that. Cause it's all
I
fun.
enjoyed that part.
Yeah, all fun. And so I make a comment. Kathy Hayes said something, kind of going after me a little bit in a fun way.
Didn't you have a story to write or something? Isn't that what she said?
No, I can't remember.
I think it was you had a story to
Yeah.
write. What am I paying you for or something?
Yeah, something like that. And so I'm
enjoyed.
I'm fresh off Top Gun, so all these movie quotes are in my head.
Oh, boy.
And I said, it's classified. I tell you, but then I'd have to, the rest of the part, and I put hashtag Maverick, LOL. Facebook, within 2 minutes, sends me, your comment goes against our community standards on violence and incitement. I have never been flagged before ever on Facebook.
Well, you have now, little buddy.
I get flagged all the time.
Do you really?
You?
Yeah.
Jeez.
No one else can see your comment. We have these standards to prevent and disrupt all offline harm. If your content goes against our community standards again, your account may be restricted or disabled.
I'm on a...
You can disagree with the decision if you think you got it wrong. Yes, I was just quoting a movie. I put hashtag Maverick. Surely you know I was joking.
Well, maybe they haven't seen the movie. I mean,
Communist.
you didn't see it.
How can you not see Top Gun?
I don't know.
That's embarrassing if you've never seen Top Gun.
Maverick's better than
Unbelievable.
Maverick's better than.
I was really
Top Gun
nervous. I was
Cousin
like, oh my
Nathan.
God, I wouldn't be able to got the news pages. Facebook's gone.
My account is restricted right now.
Oh, imagine that.
That's the first time I ever.
Ask me how many times I've ever been restricted.
I went to
on
my
Facebook.
profile and it
Well, you
was
can't get
yellow.
restricted when you post puppies all the time, Phil.
Well, they're
Sloths,
And sloths.
kitty cats.
they're so cute. You gonna tell me you don't love a sloth?
It's kind of rinse and repeat on the sloths.
It's gross.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Sloths
They
are
are. They're
adorable.
little.
Their little claws. They look like they could tear you apart, but they just want to love you.
Disgusting.
It's kind of like being a rhino. You just don't really know what you want. Just kind of in the middle.
All right, James, I apologize. You missed Gomer Pyle for this podcast. So.
Oh, Gomer.
All right.
Oh boy, Chris is a villain.
They did take it off, so my account's no longer yellow. So that is if it stays yellow, it means you're warned.
As long as you're a good boy going forward.
I know now.
Yeah, don't do anything stupid because they'll.
I haven't done anything.
Well, what we're really saying is don't leave your Facebook open where I can get a hold of it.
Yeah, because you can't say you can't do Top Gun quotes on there. So
what's your favorite? Before we go, what's your favorite Top Gun quote from the whole movie?
Well, I know it ain't one of them. I can't say it.
Well, the greatest line in the movie is "Take me now or lose me forever." The piano scene in the bar, right before Goose's demise. Was that Maverick's fault? Did Maverick kill Goose?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Ronnie?
No.
You don't think so? I think he killed him.
Okay. Earlier, 85,000 comments ago. If you don't know where to vote tomorrow, go to that link on Facebook that I put into the comment section. okvoterportal.okelections.us. Type in your name, first and last name, and your date of birth, and it gives you all the information where you vote at. You can look at your sample ballot. You can do a whole bunch of stuff. You can look at absentee ballots. You can request a lot of stuff if you want to in the future. You can do all that on there. So go there. Voting polls are open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. If you're in line at 7 p.m. and the line is long, you will still get the vote. When you go to the voting precinct, be nice to those three people at the table.
Yeah,
they have a long day ahead of them, and it's an important process, and they take a lot of time out of their schedule to be there. So thank them. If you have donuts, Phil's going to take donuts to his people, so thank you for that, Phil.
No, full-size Snickers bars.
Full-size, just like Halloween.
We don't mess around.
Yeah. So we appreciate everybody at the Logan County Election Board. They got a long day. I will be back for sure. You guys are invited. I don't know what's going on.
Invited where?
Here tomorrow night.
Well, I've got a previous engagement tomorrow night.
Oh, I've heard that one before.
Yeah. No, I'll swing by.
Oh, no work? Huh? No inserting the numbers?
No, I can do some work for you.
Remember you did that last time.
I'm happy to do that.
Yeah. But we'll be on the air.
You bring the beer.
A little after 7 p.m., we will be live. And as the election numbers come in, we will put them out so you will know who wins, who's going off to a runoff, all that right here for statewide races. But most importantly, we will definitely be covering the local stuff. That includes both county commissioner races as well as District 31. Those are our three primary ones that we will be covering here, but we'll also be looking at the statewide races as well, and you can watch them as it comes in. So I think that's it.
Yeah, and again, just to echo, whoever you support, please go vote.
Go vote.
I mean, get out and vote. Whoever you support matters not to me. We all have a right to our opinion and our views. I think we have a responsibility to vote. So please go vote.
And just because you vote against me doesn't mean I don't like you or anything. Yeah. It's just
I got a list of people that I don't like, but it's not for this reason.
Oh, yeah. So hopefully you don't take anything personal on here. You might disagree, but again, if we can still be friends and understand, just disagree on a few things.
And if not, I'm okay with it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'll sleep well. So this is a long one, but we wanted to make sure we do it right to all the races that were done tonight. So, all right.
That's funny.
Right. Boy, Phil, you should have been in bed an hour ago.
Oh, I got a late night tonight. I do. We didn't talk about my audition in Nashville.
I haven't closed off yet. Oh, no, we ain't talking about that.
Right in the palm of my hand.
No.
Ronnie Phillips.
Right in the palm of my hand.
Superintendent says you're done.
Oh, I'm done.
Go
Okay.
vote.
Ronnie Phillips, Phil Nichols, Chris Evans. Have a great night. Go out and vote. Tuesday, June 28th.
Thank you, guys.
This has been The Open Mic.
For Condell.
Oh, my gosh. We were doing so good.
It's your brother.
That's why I'm restricted at times.